20 minutes past 11. I haven't got to be to work for another half an hour. I live 15 minutes away. I'm making coffee to go into work. But my discussion, something of a controversial thing, kind of started spinning off with it a couple weeks ago. Might have been last week, God knows. From my driver's seat. See, I don't do a whole lot of them for my driver's seat because we have this, like, sketchy little AI camera that's in our truck. The other day, it faulted me for following behind a pickup truck that had three vertical mattresses on the bed of it, doing 10 to 15 miles per hour under the speed limit, which I'm sitting there, you know, analyzing the way he has strapped his cargo. He obviously isn't a truck driver. Anywho, yeah, he was going to be that guy. He cuts over in front of me, doing under the speed limit, and I'm struggling to get up to speed because I'm a big fat elephant rolling down the road. And I'm kind of following along, and of course I've got a bumper humper behind me trying to find their way around my big fat ass, thinking that if they ride my ass, it'll make me go faster with Mattress Boy ahead of me. So I'm kind of pacing him, following a little close, but not exactly my fault. I didn't put myself there. He put himself there. But the camera thinks I put myself there. That's what AI will bring you. So moving on from that, let's talk about like the critical elements of medical gaslighting. Now we're running into an issue here because everybody, you know, that I've talked to who's experienced some way, shape, or form of this issue, they're either being overtreated or undertreated. It falls on a broad spectrum. You're either being told you have cancer and nothing's even evident, or and they're just trying to get money out of your insurance. Yeah, I think really nothing wrong with you and they don't care if you live or die. Or you've got those ones who are undertreating you because they just don't want to be fucking bothered. Yeah, I've dealt with both in my life. It's kind of a frustrating element. You see, I was going to go into the medical field as a young pup before I got pregnant with my daughter. I had aspired. Well, then I became pregnant with my daughter, and that dream kind of went into the toilet. However, I'm glad it did, and I'm glad she came into my life, because if I had to deal with some of the fucking derangement that I have been witnessing with some of these stories that are backed by doctors, by the way. This is not my own, you know, dreaming up wild shit. I've experienced it, as well as other people experiencing this kind of crap, and the doctors are just like new people that actually still care. They come into this field of work because either they have this, you know, epiphany that they're going to heal the world, or that they're extremely smart and they generally care about, you know, a human being, or, you know, they're just fascinated with the human body to that degree to where they want to be there to, you know, fix people. Like the guy who likes to tinker in the backyard with daddy's lawnmower, take the engine apart and put it back together. He's going to grow up to be a mechanic, probably. Because he likes doing that kind of shit. There's a lot of things I liked doing when I was younger that I do not do now. Which I wish I had time to. But I don't. Because I don't have time to. So, medical gaslighting. Women especially, we have issues. A lot of times it's either PCOS causes us to fall into what would be classified as a metabolic syndrome. Our metabolisms go to quinky dink. We go from, being able to eat whatever we want in our 20s to by the time we turn 30, all of a sudden we are blowing up like a balloon, or we have a child, and then all of a sudden we can't lose the weight. Our metabolism goes completely bleh. More than likely PCOS or endometriosis. But it's so difficult to detect. The other loaded gun that a lot of doctors are dealing with right now, because it seems to be coming out of the fucking woodwork, is lupus, fibromyalgia, and MS. All three. Oh, and hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. Both cause weight gain, which nobody can freaking fathom why they both do that. You think your thyroid being in hyperdrive would make you be skinny as a rail. Not exactly the case, especially if it's a Hashimoto's condition. So yeah, women have a major issue with this kind of crap. And doctors don't want to take it serious, or they don't have the proper testing in order to diagnose it properly. I am not a doctor, but I do know that I've been medically gaslit either to one extreme, either trying to be the hero and you're going to commit malpractice by putting me on that medication because you haven't done the proper testing that determines that I need that medication. You're just shooting from the hip because you're paranoid. Typically it's a cholesterol thing, and most of them are getting a kickback from the pharmaceutical industry in order to prescribe that. It's that whole dynamic. If I were to go into the story of where this whole cholesterol phobia came from, it would be I'd be up there with Ivor Cummings and Dr. Barry and Dr. Saladino and that dude, David Feldman. We'd have to have a round table, and it would be a 6-hour documentary to explain the timeline and how all of it got to this point right here, me talking about this. Yes, I was prescribed a statin. Blood work was not tragic. There's worse. So I took it upon myself to do my own research, and what I came up with is the fact that this woman needs to have her medical credentials pulled. Is she going to get her medical credentials pulled? Fuck no, she ain't going to get her medical credentials pulled. She's too quick at the pen. She's going to write that prescription faster, and she's going to have any kind of common knowledge to suggest any kind of dietary advice because she's 5'4", 400 pounds, and has a affinity for Coca-Cola, full strength. Yeah. Her ass is the size of Kentucky. And her education, she probably barely passed her medical boards with, I don't know, maybe 69%. I don't know what qualifies passing. Probably a 69.9. They gave her that extra 0.01 to save face. Oh, that's good enough. She's just going to be in, family practice where she's going to administer, not pediatrics, but, she's going to be the one to, do sore throats and stuff. Yeah, do a throat culture. That's easy enough for you. Did I turn the coffee pot on? Yeah, shit. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock at night. I've barely been off my work time. I clocked out at 2 o'clock yesterday. I got to be back in at midnight. Yeah. So, here's the other idea of medical malpractice that a lot of people, they tend to kind of forget they have control. Where did that come from? Oh yeah, it's my throat chakra. Told me, shut the fuck up. Sorry, gods. We ain't gonna. Not on this one. I must have breathed in a fucking fungus net or something. Anyway, so I'm sitting there thinking about. I had come across this story and I don't know what I did with it, and I probably put it in my saved files. And I can't remember. There we go. Who the content creator was that actually had said something in this regard. Or the story where it came about. Might have been on Facebook, might have been, YouTube. But what it was talking about was there was a doctor, might have been Mr. Ballin, for crying out loud. One of those ones that, covers weird, controversial stuff. Well, turns out that there was a doctor over a 5-year period who was committing insurance fraud by diagnosing people with cancer. And people are so afraid and gullible and have so much faith in the medical system that they just went along with it and got treated. Some of them died, some of them, survived the bullshit. Oh, I'm a cancer survivor. They never even had cancer. It's a doctor who was raping the insurance company. About 5 years. There's like tens of thousands of patients who fell for this bullshit. So, what happened was, some way, shape, or form, the man actually took a vacation or was out of the net. And another doctor came in. And this patient had, he had seen and said, they had this issue, whatever. And he said, well, let me get some tests and see what we're working with. And he come back and he's like, you don't have cancer. Well, you told me. No, you don't. And they're like, what? That's how it was discovered. They had to let this man, in order to prove that he was actually doing this bullshit, misdiagnose deliberately hundreds of patients before they could prove that he was doing what he was doing. And there's several, and this is why, you haven't heard it much lately. The second opinion. Finding a doctor that's out of network or in your network with this stupid insurance BS to do a second opinion is it's difficult. They put you in a conundrum and a catch-22. So what do? You pay the money out of pocket to get the diagnosis confirmed. It's expensive because you have to go through the blood work all over again. Blood work is not cheap. Just generic, test panels, health and well-being. Mine is, if I pay out of pocket to LabCorp, it's like, I don't know, it could be up to $800 for the thyroid, the full vitamin panel to make sure that I'm not deficient in anything, my lipid panel, my particle test, my adrenal panel, the hormonal panel, the entire hormonal panel, the entire thyroid panel. If you don't know what that is, go look it up, because a lot of doctors only do 3 of the 5 or 4 of the 6. There's a bunch of different hormones that come out of the thyroid and you have to put them all together The insulin resistance panel. They don't fucking do that. They just do an A1C. Yes, there's a lot of blood tests that doctors won't do because the insurance doesn't automatically pay for them. And then you have other doctors that they'll do a bunch of crap, charge the shit out of your insurance, and then make up some crap like stage 0 cancer. There's a content creator who went on the lines of describing that the human body has a lot of different cancer cells in it. It is when the person's medical condition becomes problematic, or their health starts to decrease and become problematic, is when some of these cancer cells start to proliferate and become evident that there is a problem. But not everybody is going to get diagnosed with cancer, because your body has cancer cells all throughout it. If you were going to try to kill cancer, you're going to have to zap yourself to the point where you're dead, because everybody has it in them in some way, shape, or form. It is how that cancer cell evolves and becomes either a benign cancer or malignant. And a lot of people don't understand this whole concept. They've not studied medical enough to understand when it is a concern or whether it is something that you can take care of with diet. Autoimmune conditions are real sketchy right now. And I think a lot of them have come out of the woodwork because of the food. There's a lot of people out there who are starting to wake up to the fact that the food here in the United States, it's basically killing you. You've got to really get on your game and know how. You better start getting real good at chemistry and understanding what's in it. Because there's some stuff on the market, I look at it and it's like, I don't even know what 90% of that crap is. If I can't pronounce it, I'm not eating it. And a lot of stuff that's naturally occurring in natural food, they'll put on the ingredient list to throw you off, to make you think, oh, that other thing that shouldn't be on the ingredient list is just a component of the natural element. No, it's a disguise. This is where the medical field, because of the way it originated and the history behind it and how it has infiltrated our entire system of health and commerce and food regulation, like FDA, food, drug. Oh yeah, they're the ones that are creating these fucked up lunches for your kids. This is what the school has to comply to. Now, it just recently, after I graduated, became part of the focus, where they came in and started regulating all of the food that the children eat in schools. And they're the ones who determine what's healthy and what's not. Right? Now, prior to that, my school, the little high school and elementary school that I attended, from what I can remember of most of the meals that they would serve there, one, they had pretty damn good food. Now, I had also attended a high school on an Air Force base, and that food, I wouldn't feed that shit to my dog. But this little rinky-dink town, upstate New York, that was good food. That was pretty decent food, from what I remember growing up. And I was a very healthy eater. So the portions were a little smaller than what I would have liked. But the fact is their macaroni and cheese was real cheese. It wasn't out of the box. This was good shit. Their spaghetti was homemade. And it was good shit. So in any case, yeah. The standard of health and well-being amongst the medical practitioners, it is either to the extreme, over extreme, or ignorance, or they're ignoring you. That's medical gaslighting. I've experienced all of it. And it has quite literally turned my stomach, and I'm like, I'm going to do my own. I'll go get my own blood work done, thank you. I'll take the time off of work, and I'll schedule online, and I'll make the appointment, and I'll print out my little thing, and I'll go down there, and I'll, get my own stuff done. So I have record of it. I mean, I could probably pull it off of my healthy vet, but, the point is, they either overtreat you, undertreat you, or don't want to treat you at all. And so I threw it in their face the last time I got a phone call. The girl had actually said, verbatim, "Why did you cancel?" I didn't fucking schedule. There ain't no canceling to it. The appointment never existed, bitch. And here's why I didn't schedule it. Because you've had 5 tests. 5. On record. That all came up negative. I've got the images. Yeah. I've got the images. Because I requested them to be mailed to me. That, or I could sit in the waiting office and just sit there and wait for them to produce them. Be like, nah, I'll wait. And hand them over. But I have the images to take to another practitioner to get a second opinion. When you request your images, that is the first thing that doctor that's going to look at your images is going to look for. Oh shit, they're going to have a copy. Yeah. Can they open it? Yeah. They sure as fuck can. I figured out how to do it on my home computer. I'm pretty sure a medical facility has all those different little codecs in order to open all of that crap. It's not hard. They give you instructions on how to do it. Yeah. So my high cholesterol and her putting me on a statin. Yeah, I didn't need to be on a statin. I had all the tests finally done. And I did a coronary artery calcium score. And her big concern that I was going to die of a stroke or a heart attack tomorrow. Yeah, my coronary artery calcium score was a 19. 1900, not 190, a 19. She never even looked. I did the work to prove her wrong. So, with that being said, I'm not bashing the medical field. My son-in-law is going through residency right now, but he's going into dermatology. My biggest thing of advice for him is B5. You get a 12-year-old come into your office with acne, just tell his mom to go down to the GNC and get a gigantic bottle of B5 and feed the kid 3 times a day with it. Acne will clear out. It works. Yes, it does. You all can research why. Peace out.